Hello and welcome to another episode of The Funny Kind with your host, Erica Gummany. Get ready for some laughs and inspiration as Erica takes us on a journey to find the kindness and light in everyday places. And now, without further ado, here's your host, Erica Gummany.
Hi, everybody. This is Erica Gummany with another episode of The Funny Kind, and we are doing another Erica Squared segment, and we have with us Claire Becker, who is an amazing coach and dear friend and fellow seeker and deep thinker. And we met for coffee a couple months ago, and you know when you meet somebody just sometimes like the stars align and you have these conversations that are always goosebumpy, and it was so great. And everything that we talked about was kind of in line with the journey that I've been on. And after talking with some friends, felt like this was a really good conversation to have. So thanks for being with us today.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be juicy. It'll be fun, but it'll be deep stuff too, which is my favorite thing. So what we're going to talk about is like the awkward, funky, fear-filled journey towards fulfillment, alignment, and joy. Like kind of a long title, but very apropos for the journey.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
fits.
what journey isn't sometimes fearful, hopefully aligning eventually.
Yeah,
right?
As a coach, what you've been doing for over a decade, you've coached hundreds and hundreds of amazing leaders. I'll include Claire's website. The testimonials on her website like made me cry. They were so wonderful. And I think one of my favorites was Samantha Maldonado,
She's fabulous.
She is fabulous. And she just said how you didn't come in there to tell her what to do. You helped her uncover what to do. It was so beautiful.
Thank you.
So what we're not going to do today is spend a half hour giving you pithy advice with like follow these 3 steps and you too will have a perfect life and all of that, because it drives me crazy. And if you want to get help on making yourself better, there's a billion resources out there.
Truly.
Truly.
More than 1 billion. Probably.
Yeah, we Googled, if you go into Google search and you say, what should I do with my life? It's like over 7 billion hits. If I say, what is my calling? It's like over 3 billion hits. Self-help titles has tripled in the last couple years. So this is something that is resonating with a lot of people. It's this feeling that there's something more that we should be doing. So what we thought it'd be fun to go through kind of an authentic steps that you go through instead of these little fun, download my book and you can have it all perfect. We're going to talk about the messy real that I've been experiencing and that I know a lot of you have been experiencing. And Claire is going to give us some validation and some wisdom along the way.
Hey, I'll do my best.
Okay. So you're on this journey, this awkward moment, and you're at a pivotal point where you're like, I can't do this anymore. I'm in a funk. I don't want to do this. Or I have a dream and I have this amazing thing that I want to do. So it's like either you're funky, and not like Bruno Mars funky, but like, I cannot do this anymore, which I've absolutely experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have this tapping and this nagging, whether it's, a God calling, a spiritual calling, or, you want to knit the most amazing sweater in the whole world because Claire is a professional knitter.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that step 1 of the pivotal point?
I often say, Erica, that most of us walk around in the world that we live in, all of the social media, all of the pressure, all of the shiny things and the right answers that we're just constantly searching for. Most of us walk around the world with some kind of pit in our stomach most days. And cherry pit or smaller, grab some girlfriends, right? Grab some friends, go to like happy hour beverage of your choice, let it go, right? Those are the kinds of things that we can manage. But when that pit in your stomach is peach pit size or larger, right? Like plum is on the borderline.
Right.
I'm talking like peach pit, avocado pit. That's when it is really time to think not just the Band-Aid, right? Like what do I need to relieve this moment? But it's a warning and an invitation maybe to step back and really start to think, what is causing this?
Mm.
And a lot of people are there, right? We're circulating with these different pits in our stomach, and we don't know always how to respond to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree. This tapping, right, that larger peach pit in the stomach is a moment to say, I want to step back and figure out what to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that alone. But there is so much joy in talking to other people about it.
For sure.
I'm a big believer that we promote this kind of lonely leadership of you got to figure it out on your own. If you're a leader, if you're smart enough, if you know have succeeded to this point, figure that out, take it on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where coaching can come in to kind of break that down
Mm-hmm.
and start to help curate and connect to resources, because that's what comes next, right? Is okay, I want this thing. Now what?
Yeah.
What can help me?
Yeah.
One of the biggest parts of joy in my coaching practice is actually working with groups of people.
Mm.
And we'll take on different topics, whether it's, finding a better career fit or getting in line with your values or boundaries or wellness, you name the topic of the group. At the end of each of our sessions, without a doubt, everyone says the takeaway is remembering I'm not alone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what topic we're considering.
Mm-hmm.
The power of being in a group, disclosing with at least one person what's actually going on with this funk.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering you're not alone is a pivotal point, because it says, okay, then it's not just me, and other people are working on it too, and it kind of emboldens our action.
Right. Something that I'm curious about that I'd love to ask you is, how do you know when it's time that pit is starting to get funky enough that you got to get rid of it, and that you have to get rid of the pit in whatever painful way that is going to happen?
I think at any moment, we've got two discomforts to deal with. One is the discomfort of our status quo,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which comes with the stressors we know, the cherry pit to peach pit size is fluctuating, right? And then the other is discomfort of change.
Yes.
Even when it's something changing to like my absolute favorite way to spend time, my dream job, my being more in line with my values, there's still going to be discomfort on the way there. So I almost think that moving forward starts with a moment of acceptance of I accept that I'm uncomfortable now, and I will be for a little while. So at least choose the discomfort that leads to a better path.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to stay in that pit zone as long as it's like, tomorrow will be better. I mean, I'm not going to change anything, but tomorrow will be better.
Yeah.
I have no evidence to say that my work environment is going to change, but tomorrow is going to be better. Right?
One more paycheck, one more bonus, one more vacation, one more something.
Yeah.
And there's truth in that, is that at some point, everything changes.
Right.
So at some point.
Yeah. So accepting that funkiness.
Yeah.
Almost gives us a little bit more courage to stand in the funkiness of change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one that's going to lead us forward.
Yeah. So let's talk about, so we've arrived at step one. Let's say that for our story time today, we know that we want to start this path. We want to start this new adventure that we're going to go on, whether it's finding a new job or quitting corporate America and starting on your own and doing something brave. So you've decided to do it. Boom. Let me tell you what Erica Gummany does.
Bring it on.
Which is this is not recommended. 2 out of 3 dentists do not recommend this as a next step. I buy books. Okay? I buy books. I don't read the books. I buy or I download them.
Yes.
Because I feel like this is going to help me. I'm going to how to run your own business, how to do a video podcast.
Osmosis. If you sit next to your bookshelf, it's going to come in.
Yeah. When someone invents that, oh boy. Then I subscribe to podcasts and newsletters. Okay, subscribe. I don't listen to them or read them necessarily. Maybe a couple. And then I start making to-do lists, which usually involves buying a new planner, getting markers, or getting some apps.
Mm-hmm.
And then I subscribe to the pro version, and I get all excited, and I color code everything, and I get all excited. Okay, it's just this planning step. Then I begin my journey of overthinking. Find that that's a common...
Without doubt, what a human thing. What a human thing to experience, right? Because you have acknowledged this bigger dream, which took a lot of courage to do in the first place. It's not easy to say, I accept that this isn't what I want. When everyone around you is affirming, saying, oh yeah, you did it, you're there. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Right? So already... You stepped into saying, this isn't what I want something else that's big. That took courage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost as if you want to match all of the courage you put on the table with just as strong of a plan.
Yes.
And it's
perfect
impossible.
plan. Perfect. I want there to be no mistakes, no failures. Absolutely perfect.
This is how much I have at stake. So my plan better be up here to beat it.
Yeah.
Right? And that is impossible when it's something you've never done.
Right.
I don't know how.
Right.
Right? When I left my role full time and started this coaching practice, I'd been a coach for 10 years. I know how to do that. Had I ever run a business?
Right.
No.
Right.
So it's almost this nightmare situation, right? How human that we want security to match our courage. How absolutely human.
Yeah.
And then how frustrating that this bigger dream has now become an absolute nightmare of overwhelm.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Absolute nightmare.
Right. Enter in Netflix. you know, and like doing nothing and freezing. This overthinking, I feel like, is not the right next step. I'm just, I'm not a certified coach, but I'm just guessing that this is not the right step to go from dream to fruition.
There's got to be a less miserable way.
There's got to be a better way.
There's got to be a better way.
Yeah. So I'm curious, in all of your coaching experience, do you feel like where you tend to take somebody that once they're ready to come and say, I'm ready to make this change, where like you first lead them?
I mean, the why is really important, because if we are starting a journey to get to the shinier next thing that is externally driven and we don't actually want it, or right, we haven't given ourselves time to think, do I really absolutely want that? In coaching spaces or in getting to know, right, ourselves or others that we care about, that's actually a common question protocol, right? It's called the 5 whys. You ask a why question 5 times in a row. Why am I writing this book? Well, because I think it's going to make me look nice, or it's going to make me look smart. Okay. Why do you care about being smart? Because of whatever experience I have had, right? And like, why is that so salient for you? And notice that when you ask the 5 whys, you're not asking about some hypothetical future. Oftentimes you go backwards, because chances are you've already experienced a really big why in a moment you were absolutely present, engaged in your truth in the moment. But all of this BS has kind of waved over that. And so we're trying to get back to moments of truth we've experienced and figure out how to build more of those to be more broad and rich for ourselves in that, right?
Yeah.
To acknowledge that we do really want to have a bigger impact on the world, or we do want to be able to teach someone or prove something or role model something because of where we've gotten, right? To people we love, or the knowledge of the security or flexibility or other, personal value that comes with that kind of statement.
Yeah.
Right? We all get to have permission, or I think we can step into giving ourselves permission to go beyond that first why.
Right. And then I like this step. I spent a lot of time here. This is the avoid the action, succumb to resistance, and hang out with the critics and enemies in your brain.
What a super fun time.
I know, it's so fun. I do it all the time. It's so fun. Sue Keeley, who was my OG life coach, and she taught me about naming the voices in your head, right?
Yep.
So some of my friends are Olga the overthinker, Wanda the worthless, Polly the perfectionist, Chubby the tempter, who likes to make me eat ice cream and eat my feelings, you know?
I'm familiar.
So I want to hear from you from a coaching perspective. Once you kind of really start working with somebody, it's got to get pretty deep.
Without a doubt. And I think because it's not just Olga, the overthinker, that shows up one time, but we start to recognize patterns in ourselves of what is most likely to get me and most likely to stall me, to knock me to the knees without anybody else being able to hear or see what's happening. But in my mind, what I think is so important, though, is this trick of naming those voices. Because when we do that, we get to separate those thoughts a little bit from ourselves, and we create just a little bit of space, right? So instead of thinking, I think I am an overachiever, overplanner, overthinker, and so I can't do anything, right? That's all of a sudden something I own, something that's mine. It's like, Olga's popping in. Here
Yeah.
she is chirping.
Stupid Olga.
Stupid Olga. Guess what? She's here back again saying, you know what? You actually have not thought this through. It's going to go terrible.
Mhm.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Think more.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
Right.
Right? Olga's saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And
then she's talking to Wanda the Worthless, who's saying, not only are you not ready, you aren't even capable of such a thing. You sit down and you shut up and maybe go apply at Walmart. No offense to Walmart, but you shouldn't even be dreaming this dream.
Right.
You sit down and you be quiet.
And that's where the depth comes in, is because we start to become, with our self-awareness, it's bittersweet, right? The sweet side is that eventually you can take action on awareness, right? You're not going to take action unless you're aware of it. But the bitter side is that until we're ready for that action, until we've identified the space we're going to move, how we're going to start talking back to these voices, we are so aware, and we have them, and we feel bad we have them, and we have them, and they remind us of voices of people we've known or raised us or whatever, right? They sound very familiar.
Right.
And we have them, and we feel bad we have them, and we have them, and then we recognize them, right? And so it's this cycle of just acknowledging how unkind we can be to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And again, to get to a point of acceptance is like, I accept that this is how I've been to this point. Sometimes it has gotten me really far. Sometimes those negative voices saying, be careful, be the best, or else, overthink it, or else, right? Have actually gotten me to a very highly successful point. So it's also hard to say, well, if I stop treating myself so terribly, how do I know I'll be successful?
Motivate yourself by fear.
Right? And so there's lots of things that we're going to experience here as people who are trying to figure out our path forward. Whether it's becoming aware of those voices, recognize them, that they also exist outside of our brains and what that means to us.
Right.
Or being willing to say, I bet I can go further or deeper or more meaningful or more in line with me through abundance, through love, not because of fear.
Right.
And that's still like, there's depth there. This is big.
Yeah. And I really like, I know, again, Sue Keeley, my OG life coach, taught me about, communicating with these voices and understanding that they're really trying to protect you. That freaked me out. That spun my whole mind around. I was like, wait, what? So because they seem so negative, but when you think about, when Wanda the Worthless is telling me, Erica, what do you know about doing a video podcast? What do you got, 4 people watching this? You don't know how to do the lights and camera and all this video editing. You look ridiculous. She's not trying to hurt me. She's trying to protect me from negative feedback and failure. So then I have to have a conversation with her and say, remember that one time we did that one thing and we didn't know we were doing? Remember how fun that was? This is going to be really fun. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're going to be okay. But and some people don't have these voices. I have many friends who are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. They don't have these little voices. They just don't. They go right into action. And there's no party in their brain of negative thinking. I don't like to hang out with those people that much because they annoy me. Just kidding. But that is interesting to me that and I feel like, again, the best way to stop the talking is through doing the action, because then you're so busy. And I just saw something Mel Robbins just posted on Instagram about, people who are always comparing themselves. The best way to stop comparing yourself to other people is just to do the work on yourself and to do the work. And you're going to be so busy doing stuff, you're not going to have any time to be watching what other people are doing. Duh. How have you, and obviously we're trying to synthesize your entire coaching process into
Here we are.
Yeah.
This is the moment where it's going to happen.
Right.
I'm with
so
you.
Now you've got this person all ready to go, and now it's action time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 8,000 to-dos in my brain.
Yeah.
How do you get somebody to start getting the stuff done, to get these big chunks down to little steps of success?
What's really powerful, once we know what we want to do, we are truly ready, it's closing time, action is going to happen, is we wait 1 more minute and we say, okay, here's where you want to go. Tell me what is already done that's got you closer. Tell me why you're not at 0.
Oh my gosh.
On the track.
Yes.
before we say what you're going to do next, tell me what is already done.
Okay.
And go from a little bit of a to-do list to a ta-da list.
Ooh!
Because
Ta-da! I love that.
Yeah, there's this like psychological study that I'm not going to, of course, quote
That's okay.
correctly right now, but it talks about how important momentum is to ability to keep moving forward. And it's the reason why when you go to the coffee shop, they give you 3 punches on your first card, because it's so easier to get the 4th punch than it is to get the first. Right? Like, oh, I'm already, right? So like businesses and advertising agencies and punch cards and rewards programs, they use this concept all the time on us because it's like, oh yeah, here I am. So why not use that on ourselves?
Yeah.
Right? So I know where I want to go. Tell me why you're not at 0. Tell me actually why you are on line 10
of the
football field right now before we move forward. Okay, so given all that's done, whether we were focused on it or not, right?
Yeah.
I bet we were growing knowledge, skills, and inspired action.
Mm-hmm.
That actually is going to help us now that we've identified where we're going and why.
Oh, that's so good.
And then I go to one of my favorite TV chefs to watch, Gino D'Acampo. He's Italian. He shouts a lot. So, you know, that's motivating to me. There's an episode where he's talking about making pizza in Naples and why the folks in Naples have it right. And he's just like, because they do the easiest, most delicious thing. That's it. Not a single other thing. We're only going to do the easiest, most delicious thing. And I feel like if that's good enough for Gino D'Acampo, why can't it be good enough for us?
Oh my gosh.
So what's already done? You already are on the way.
Oh,
You're actually not starting from scratch. And next, what is the easiest, most delicious, right? Joy, insert whatever adjective you want. Easiest has to be there. Let's not do the hard thing first. Let's do the easiest, most joyful, delicious, fulfilling, connection building, whatever. What's that thing? And so
my gosh,
you
that
only
is
need
so
to know
good.
That one.
This is such a positive vibe.
Yeah, I mean,
like celebrate the things I don't understand. Aren't you just shaming yourself to try to move forward? I don't understand what you're talking about.
No, we're trying to get that out of the brain bar.
Right.
Olga doesn't do that.
Right, but it's so contrary to how most of us think. Is like we don't even celebrate what we've done before. Like I was saying before, like I got this project done. I'm thinking about the lack that I have to move to the next one versus how much I've learned and how much I've moved forward already.
Yeah.
And celebrating that and saying, now keep going, keep going, keep going. Like how a child learns how to hold on to the furniture.
Yeah.
And before they couldn't even crawl, they couldn't even lay on their belly. Every little step they're taking. And how we encourage our children through that. But boy, we don't do it to ourselves.
I mean, you think about that child was at 0 one day.
Yeah. Oh.
And ever since then, they've been in the positive.
That's so good. That's
so
good.
How could we?
This is juicy.
How could we, decades into our life, be at 0?
Right.
How could we?
Everything was getting you ready to this point. Yeah. That's so awesome. Oh my gosh. All right. I can't even. That's good. That's good. We're gonna give you so many resources that we've talked about. Other things. I'm so grateful that you're here. Let me ask you one question. Okay. Like this video podcast is called The Funny Kind, Seeking Kindness and Light in Everyday Places. And how would you say that in this divine purpose that you are in, because I do feel that it is a divine purpose for you, how do you feel that you are bringing kindness and joy, kindness and light into the world in your work?
One of my first early interactions with my own coach, Suzanne, and I got to see her last week, so she's top of mind. She told me that one of the pillars that she has when she was coaching with me was she said, I've committed when we are in this space to hold you in unconditional positive regard, which means that no matter how you show up, no matter how big the challenge, no matter how funky you are, I am going to treat you as a person who I absolutely know can take this on. And we'll organize the resources, we'll sort out the things. It won't be easy every time, but 100% of the time, I'm going to hold you in unconditional positive regard. And the gift that Suzanne gave me by saying that's what she was committing to for me, and the accountability that she gave me when she said that out loud, I try to be a little bit like her every day. I try to hold folks in unconditional positive regard.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful.
And I do believe that is both kind, and I believe it allows us to laugh at ourselves every so often, right? Because it gets funky along the way. But that's my pursuit.
I love that. And boy, if we all treated each other with unconditional positive regard.
What a thing.
So, oh my gosh, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
I love it so much. If you are looking for a coach, Claire is amazing, obviously. So again, we'll share her information. But we just thank you for being with us on this journey, and we'll see you on another episode of The Funny Kind. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Funny Kind with your host, Erica Gummany. Be sure to subscribe now so you don't miss any of the laughs or inspiration. And Erica wants to hear from you. Be sure to reach out if you know of someone Erica should connect with as she continues to take us on a journey to find kindness and light in everyday places.